All right, I don't know. I have no explanation. I have no explanation, friends, as far as why this keeps acting up. I have no explanation. I've got a great internet connection. It's bizarre. Great internet connection. I don't know why I'm having sound issues here. Hang on a second. Internet connection. Great. So you can hear me now. It's bizarre. Great internet connection. Okay, great. All right. I don't know. I have no idea. So here we go again. Okay, so if you're just coming back on in, come on in. I don't know why I keep dropping my sound. I am on a great phone. I've got a phenomenal internet connection, and I have no clue why it is irritating. Irritating voice? Is it just my voice is irritating, generally speaking, or it's irritating right now because something's going on with the way the voice is being coming through? Hold on, just don't even tell me. Don't tell me, I'm going to check it myself. Is irritating, generally speaking? Okay, well, whatever. I guess I just have an irritating voice to you. Okay, so I apologize. All right, yay, come on back in here. Let's keep our energy high. I don't know what's going on. It's extremely annoying. However, I have some information to share with you today. So as soon as, or if, we're going to anticipate it doesn't happen, but if the volume goes out, just text, message me. Somebody tell me so I then know that the volume went out. So anyway, we were talking about the holidays being a very stressful time of the year, even though we feel like, ideally it should be a time of unity. It should be a time for family to all get together. It should be a time of cohesiveness, right? For everyone to appreciate and love their fellow man and woman, and especially family members. But oftentimes that is not the case. We were going through our 3-4 steps. Let's just say we got a 4-step, hi there. Thanks for coming back in. So we've got a 4-step process to getting through the holiday. Well, not even specific. Let's not even talk about holiday season in general. Let's talk Thanksgiving, dynamics of Thanksgiving, dinner, entire family coming together, getting together under the same roof or whatever the case may be. That's what we're going to talk about. So if you are in another country, you're like, okay, well, that just sounds great. Then let's just say that's just great. We don't have Thanksgiving over here. Hold on, I'm going to check, make sure you guys can still hear me because it's so annoying. Sounds great. Then... Okay, good. All right, you got me. Okay, so let's just say, yeah, it's like, that sounds great. I don't live in the United States of America. We don't have Thanksgiving. Okay, well, apply this to whatever it is that you do have that could potentially be going on in your area, your family, your culture, whatever the case may be. But what I was talking about, and I got interrupted, and we're going to do it again, is that this can be the time that you don't always have to be right. You can let somebody else be right. This could be kind of a going into a situation, deciding in advance. That's the preparedness of it. That's step number 1, being prepared. It's just saying, going in advance, knowing there's going to be volatility. There could be opportunity for arguments. There could be some conflict because part of the family sits on one side of the political fence, the other side of the political fence, and there's going to be some animosity or whatever. Hold on, I want to see if there's some comments here because I can't see them. Okay, so yeah, so if that's the case, then you got to just be prepared ahead of time. Just know that's going to happen or it has the potential to happen, and you're going to put yourself into a position to not have to deal with that, to not have to go through it. And as I was saying early on, I've gotten to a place in my life to where I just don't want to put up with nonsense and drama as far as where I'm at today in my life. Man, you guys, I am so sorry that we ended up with all these challenges today. We started off with quite a few people in here, and then they just kind of dropped out one by one as I started having more and more challenges with my scope. So I do apologize, and I especially appreciate those of you who've gone ahead and come back in and stayed with me here today. So I'm still on, right? Challenges. Okay, good. Okay. So, it's just so weird. It's like, as family, the family dynamics, it's really strange. It's almost like there's, in some sense, people just let their guards down and they feel like, well, I can just speak my mind. I can share how I really feel. And these are family members. They should love me anyway. And they do love you. But they still may not want to hear your opinion on the president. They still may not want to hear, your thoughts on the way the election was handled. They may not want to hear those things over Thanksgiving because it opens up a Pandora's box. It really does. It opens up for all the crap to come out. Have you ever noticed that when you mix, you mix this emotions and then you mix alcohol, a lot of food, a bunch of different personalities together, then you have like a recipe for a shitstorm, right? A recipe for a shitstorm to occur. And oftentimes that is exactly what happens during the Thanksgiving get-together. So a couple of suggestions was, if you can avoid it, avoid it. If you don't have to be in that scenario, if you don't have to put yourself in that situation, then go and have your holiday festivities with somebody else. But if that would be too weird, because you're not going to come to the family get-together, and you're thinking, well, the family get-together last year ended up with fisticuffs, right? There ended up being a brawl at Grandma's house or at Aunt Martha's house. I don't want to go through that again. So in that case, I think it would be legit for you to say, I'm opting out. I don't want to go through what we went through last year. Don't want to put myself in that predicament. Or if that's not the case, then you're going to go, but you're going to go ahead of time with a prepared plan, with a plan to exit gracefully if need be, with a plan to avoid the conflict. And as I was saying earlier, before I got so rudely interrupted on my Periscope and got the volume shut down on me again, I was saying that a lot of times the emotions of this holiday season is not because you're around family and friends. It's because sometimes we're isolated. We're not around the people that we love. And so then we find ourselves having, this Thanksgiving dinner or what have you with strangers or maybe people we don't know that well. So whatever the scenario is that you find yourself in, okay, first and foremost, as we said, it's being prepared. It's just knowing, going in advance of what could come up and what might not come up. Hey, hello. Thanks for sharing this scope out if you're finding value, and also thanks for just being here, because I'm I don't know, I think I'm on scope number 3 or 4. At this point, I gotta delete the other ones because they started and we lost our volume and the screen was jumpy and all kinds of weird little glitches were happening. I don't know, Devil don't want me getting this information out or something. Yeah, so see, this will be their second time. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming back in. Yeah, so this will be your second year away from family and friends. I mean, that can be stressful. So first and foremost is to just realize that things like this happen. You know what I mean? That it can be a crazy time of the year. It can be a time of high emotions. It can be a time when we either feel lonely, or we feel like, yeah, I've got to spend it with people that maybe are not the people I most want to. But here's the special thing to remember about all that, and I'm going to get into our other 3 steps here in a second. But the thing to remember is, look, with modern technology, you could be at Thanksgiving dinner with the family by putting them on Zoom, or do a private group on Periscope and everybody get into Periscope, and then you're eating your Thanksgiving turkey. They're all having theirs. You're right there on the table with them, joining in the conversations, having fun, right? I mean, how cool is that? But yes, if that's not something that's necessary, and you do have friends or family or people that you care about right there in that local area. But I mean, look, there's a way to make this work, okay? There's always a way to make this work, and especially because we are so blessed to be in the 21st century with all this great technology available, literally, that you could be with your family and friends if that ends up being a challenge and you don't want to spend the holiday either by yourself or with strangers or people that you don't know that well. All right, so let's go back to getting through it though and staying cool when things get hot, and they can get hot. So that number one was being prepared, planning ahead, knowing that if this was a volatile situation last year or the year before, or there's a real pattern going on here that every time you go to Aunt Martha and Uncle Bill's house, the shit hits the fan, people get drunk, they start losing their minds right about the time the pie gets served, then make a plan to not go, or make a plan to exit stage left prior to the pie, right? Prior to the alcohol flowing too freely. Get out of there. Say, you know what? We're going to come for dinner, but unfortunately this year we're not going to be able to stay for dessert. We're going to have to leave. We got another commitment. They don't need to know what the other commitment is. The other commitment is in front of your television with your own pie at home without anybody throwing stuff at each other. Awesome, right? Whatever. But plan ahead. That's number one. Number two is learn how to say no. If you want to say no, say no. If it doesn't work for you, say it doesn't work for us this time. If it's not something you want to do, say, you know what? It's just not something I'm going to be able to do this year, and I do apologize to everyone. Say no. The worst thing you can do is to say yes or to be passive aggressive. Pet peeve. Pet peeve. Passive aggressive people. Can't stand it. It's like, look, just say yes or just say no. I don't give a crap one way or the other. However, I do really appreciate you being authentic. You being real. If you want to do it, awesome. If you don't want to do it, for God's sakes, please say so, right? If it's not something you want to do, if it's not something you're vibing with, that's right. Because the last thing you want to do is to say yes when you really wanted to say no. And then you're resentful. And then you're irritated. And then you get off the phone, or you get done talking to the person, you get in your car and you're like, why didn't I just say no? Damn it, I did it again, right? And then you're frustrated with yourself. So it takes courage to just say no. But there's ways to do it in a diplomatic fashion. There are ways to do it in a diplomatic fashion. You could say, politely, it doesn't work for us. You could come up with just not a big song and dance or a big excuse, but it could be just a, you know what, thank you so much for your lovely invitation. We're going to have to pass this year. We've got other plans. Boom. Oh, what other plans? We've got some another party that we've already committed to joining. Great. What other party? Who are you going? You don't owe them an entire explanation. Leave it at that. Yes, we've got another group that we've already committed to this year. I know, we're not doing the family thing, but hey, we've committed, and I've promised to bring my famous apple pie and my stuffing. So I'm sorry. You guys have a great time. We're going to love you and miss you and think about you. We'll look forward to seeing you sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but we're not going to be able to make dinner this year. Boom, that's it. Leave it at that. So step number one was being prepared in advance. Step number two was learning how to say no. Learn how to say no. If you don't want to say yes, don't say yes. The last thing we want you to do is say yes and then be pissed off all day because you said yes. It's up to you. Just say no if you don't want to do it, okay? Number three is gain an ally. Get a supporter over here. So if you've got a spouse, a significant other, a friend, right? A partner in crime, your cousin Mary, you only see her a few times a year. She's going to be there. Then tell her, Mary, in this scenario, I'll see you at Aunt Mabel and Uncle Bill's. It's going to be great. Let's pray to God it doesn't turn out like last year. But, can I ask for you to assist me with something? If you see me getting sucked in to the arguments, if you see me getting sucked into the political talk, if you see me getting sucked into that negative energy, would you just come over and give me a heads up? Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop it. Sometimes I just got to jump right in there, right? I love to get into the fray, but then it just throws everything off. So can we make an agreement between us? Gain an ally, friends. Can we make an agreement between us that if you see me doing it or I see you doing it, we're going to just look at our watches and go, man, gosh, I hate to cut out. We didn't even get to have the dessert, but we got to scoot. Okay? So gain an ally. Number one step was be prepared, know what you're getting into in advance. Number two, say no. If you don't want to do it, get out of it. No passive aggressive behavior. That stinks. No one likes it. It's a big turnoff. It makes you look like a big dud ding dong or a victim, right? So don't do it. Number 3 is gain an ally. Get a supporter. If you've got your partner, significant other, a close friend, another family member where you looked at each other last year and went, what just happened? Okay. That's the person you want to connect with and just say, look, just keep me on the straight and narrow. If you see me getting sucked into that nasty energy like last year, come on over and say something to me, or let's do the wink, wink, nod, nod. It's time to leave. Look at the clock. Yep, let's go, babe. My husband and I do that, where if things start getting weird, I just kick him under the table hard if he doesn't pay attention the first time. It's like, kick, really kick, or I'll say, babe, honey, can you come help me with something? He's like, oh yeah, guys, what? Babe, can you come help me? I need help over here for a second, please. Just for a second, he'll come over and what? And I'll be like, let's get the hell out of here. This is getting weird. It's like, oh, sometimes, half the time, my husband's like, well, I'm just having fun. It's just getting exciting. And I'm like, no, let's go. I don't want this kind of excitement. Let's get out of here. It's getting, it's getting weird. So we kind of have this little code thing going on where we support each other. So that's the 3rd step. First was being prepared. Second was learning how to say no if you really want to say no. 3rd was gaining an ally, right? And number 4 is just realizing it's once a year. It's once a year. It's okay. You know what? Have fun with it. Change the energy. Change the synergy of it. If you feel like there are certain people that can't handle their alcohol, then say, you know what? Due to the last 3 Thanksgivings, we're not doing alcohol this year. We got sparkling punch. We got eggnog. We got milk, we got alcohol-free beer, we got sparkling cider, and we got no alcohol. It ain't happening this year. Sorry, right? So we got to be adults about this. If you're hosting it, especially if you're hosting it and you know what's happened the last couple of years, say, you know what, this can be a dry Thanksgiving. Sorry. That turkey got real drunk last year, and we're not doing it again. So set this expectations up for success. Set everybody up to have a good time. Let's control what we can control. When we can foresee what's going to happen, and when alcohol, drugs are involved, or what have you, you know what's going to happen. It's just the emotions come out. People are already emotional. There's nothing worse than everybody's happy, yeah, like my husband's Ukrainian, the Polish, Ukrainian style of, yeah, oh, and then all of a sudden, oh man, too much. Everybody's had too much alcohol, right? Uncle Joe would stay home. There you go. Then it's too much alcohol. And all of a sudden it went from good times to, it gets emotional and it gets weird, and that's just no fun. So those are my tips this year. As far as staying cool when the Thanksgiving events are happening. Another thing too is if grandma loves making the stuffing and you love making the stuffing, we don't need to arm wrestle grandma for who's making the stuffing this year, okay? We do not need to have an argument about who's making the stuffing. So let's not do that. Let her make the stuffing. It's grandma. How long's grandma going to live? I mean, for God's sake, let her make her stuffing, okay? It's not worth arguing about. You go find a dish on Pinterest. Yeah, exactly. But mine's better than hers. Of course yours is better than hers. But that's okay. Let her make hers. You go on Pinterest, find a brand new recipe no one's ever had or tried, and make something else that everybody's going to want to be tasting and trying and oohing and eyeing, and that'll be your special dish this year. And let grandma do the stuffing. Look, this isn't that difficult. There's ways around this, okay? There's ways around this without causing conflict and a whole bunch of craziness coming out, okay? So that's it. That's my words of wisdom today. Hey, by the way, if you have been watching AmericanWomanTV.com with Rihanna and I on American Woman TV, we did not just disappear and stop doing our American Woman TV. Rihanna and Brendan have been moving. They're into a really fabulous new home. It's been, you know what it's like to move. And when you got to move animals, dogs, cats, children, all their stuff. It's a big deal. So Rihanna and I did not do our cooking show this week because my husband and I were helping them move and getting themselves situated and all that fun stuff. So that's the only reason. Otherwise, we'd be having our show. But AmericanWomanTV.com, yeah, congratulations. I'm so excited for them. Each of the kids, they got their own bedrooms now. Brendan's got an entire big office den to himself. It's just too perfect. It's awesome, and they really, really deserve it. So if you have been following us, never fear, we'll be back together again soon. And if you missed any of our previous episodes and you'd like to see some of our recipes you want to try out or just watch one of our shows, you can go to AmericanWomanTV.com. Yeah, they're still in the same neighborhood. I think they're within like a half a mile of where they were living, just a much larger home and more accommodating for everybody. But yeah, kids are going to the same schools. The ice cream truck is driving by. I never see the ice cream truck in my neighborhood. Only in Arizona, right? It's just a week before Thanksgiving. We got the ice cream truck driving through the neighborhood. Anyway, so yeah, thank you so much. We'll look forward to being back out here again. Hey, if you found a little bit of value in today's message, even though we got kind of off to a rocky start, I sure appreciate you sharing. And always, you can find more information on me on AmericanWomanTV.com. That happens to also be my website, LisaKitter.com. So check it out. Thanks for being here today. If I can assist with anything, I do offer coaching and support. So please hit me up. Thank you. Appreciate your kind words, and I really appreciate your patience today. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.